Do the ends justify the means? We've seen a lot of crazy things go down in Fromville. We've seen a lot of stabs go down, a lot of torturing go down in this series. And yet, for some odd reason, this box has only been used one time. And the one time it was used was in season 1, episode 3. For someone who, in my opinion, did not deserve that treatment compared to the other 3 characters that I want to talk about amongst them. That character, of course, being Frank, the box's first and only victim. Now, keep in mind, Boyd only made this box as a way to scare the people of Fromville from doing things that are out of pocket and to keep them in line. The box was only meant to be a scare tactic. He had no intention of ever using it because he didn't think that anybody would dare go against anything going on in the town, knowing what lurks at night. Frank is an interesting case because he didn't kill anybody directly. Yes, it was because of his inaction that his daughter was able to open the window and he and his wife died, which led Boyd to telling him a man takes care of his family and imprisoning him and eventually throw him in a box. At that point in time, I really didn't have much problem with Boyd doing this. I mean, he really didn't even want to do it. He gave the man a talisman and told him he can make a life for himself out in the woods. It was Frank that returned to town and was like, I'm gonna put myself in there. The only people that I cared about are gone anyway. There's no point in me living. And he did technically break the rules. He did not set the windows down in a way to protect his family. It also broke the Fromville street of no accident. So in a way, it is justified that Frank was in the box. If that's the case, why are we not having a conversation about Elgin getting thrown in the box? Now, I know it's probably not a rule against kidnapping in Fromville because who the hell would think anybody could kidnap anybody in this town? Everybody here is so nice, never been manipulated at all. Why on earth would we instill a rule against something like kidnapping? Why would we even need to? Because people in this town do be getting manipulated, actually. We've seen this from season 1, mind you. And we're seeing it in this character here being Elgin, manipulated by the kimono lady to kidnap Fatma, believing that the birth of her baby that's not really her baby will lead them out of town. She gave birth to that baby being the smile demon. I mean, y'all are still in town right now. So you kidnapped this woman for no good reason, made her drink your own blood, trifling, and held knowledge of her imprisonment to your chest. You ain't tell nobody where you was holding her. Yeah, to me, that deserves box time. Honestly speaking, if everything had not went down the way it did in that season 3 finale, I do see Elgin potentially getting thrown in that box. Because we got the birth of Smiley, then seeing that ritual in the basement of that cellar. Yeah, Boyd's mind is in other places right now. It goes back to my original question of do the ends justify the means? No, you getting manipulated by the kimono lady does not justify you kidnapping Fatma. You could have talked to somebody about the visions that you were seeing, but you chose not to do that. It's like Frank chose not to board down those windows to keep his daughter from opening the window, taking out his family. Putting in the life of a Fromville citizen and a potential child in danger, yeah, you deserve to get thrown in that box. But does Fatma deserve to get thrown in that box though? For Frank, hell yes, she killed somebody. And before y'all say, oh, she was pregnant with Smiley. Bro, and if she was pregnant with Smiley and she massacred the whole town, that would be okay. I get it, it's extenuating circumstances. The town was doing some next level stuff to her body. Fatma even said, whatever's going inside of me is making me do these bad things. But the reality is you still killed Tilly, who I still believe is a man in yellow shapeshifter. We'll talk about that in another video. You killed her, bro. And just because Elgin killed you later on in the season does not absolve you of that body. The town is going to want answers for what happened to her. I would not be surprised if they find out that Fatma was the one to take her out. I actually seen something crazy going around. That Fatma might actually delete herself with everything she's gone through between season 2 and 3. Now, I don't want to believe that, but I definitely could see that happening. Especially with her feeling gaslit by Christy and them for not believing she was pregnant. Everything with Elgin kidnapping her. And then the town just manipulating and abusing her in that way through all of season 3. You're going to need Ellison recording her big time if they don't decide to throw her ass in the box. Which in my opinion, she does deserve to get thrown in. I'm sorry, Fatma. I like you, but I think you do need to get thrown in there. Like what Father Cowdrey said to Boyd when he was dealing with Frank back in season 1. You absolve Frank in this moment for not sticking to the rule, not boarding down his windows, then the rules have no sway and anybody in this town can do whatever they want scot-free. That's how Fromville is moving right now. You can catch bodies and still damage to members of this society. You still walking the streets like nothing happened. So in my opinion, Boyd got to stand on 10 and throw Fatma in that box. It's going to be crazy because that is his daughter-in-law. And realistically speaking, he's probably not going to do it. I just believe that she definitely should get thrown in there. But of all these characters that I just spoke on, there's nobody that I'm more sure of deserves to be in that box than Sarah Myers. Now, we know the town manipulated her to thinking that killing Ethan was the right move. And she didn't kill Ethan, but then she went ahead and killed her brother. Before even doing that, Sarah left the door open to get Kenny's pops killed in that, I think, the second episode of season 1. Before that, she killed Jade's best friend that came into town with him in the very first episode. That shit's still unanswered for, by the way. I'm surprised Jade has not even brought that up. I have an investigation launched on how the hell his friend just died. I know they got in a car accident, but still, Jade, you don't want to know how it happened? Like, that could not have been your man's for real. So in the span of 5 episodes, Sarah has already caught 2 bodies and tried to take out a child in the name of potentially escaping the town after getting Ethan killed. Can you imagine if she killed Ethan? Like, they would still be in the town. We saw with Elgin just now. Even after Fatma gave birth to Smiley, like, no, they are still trapped here. And he still has hope that they're going to leave. Like, he's insane. So Kenny's a better man than me because if I knew that this girl was responsible for slamming on my pop, I would have done everything in my power to put her in that box. And I get it. The justification from Boyd is like, Kashri said to keep her alive. She's connected to this place in a way that none of us are. Has that benefited the town for her? Sarah is essentially the boy in white. She's getting information from outside of the town, telling Boyd what's going on at the end of season 2, but not really giving him insight on how to get back to the ruins to break the music box. Telling Boyd and Ellis that she believes that Elgin knows where Fatma is, but not having the location of where Fatma is. Like, none of this is really helping. None of this is justifying keeping you around with everything that you've already done. Then you go on to do what you did to Elgin by the end of season 3. And somehow at the beginning of season 4, nobody is reprimanding you for this. You took out bro's eye socket. Now, granted, I understand he was holding Fatma's location secret. That's effed up, but you taking out his eye took things to the next level. It's like you jack that you want to be a good person, but you actively out here doing the bad things that you don't want Boyd to get caught up in, because granted, you have done a lot of bad things in this town already. I respect you standing on your 10, but you gotta be who you are, embrace the things that you've done, and sit in that box for me. It's wild, because as much as she deserves to get thrown in the box, she's not gonna get thrown in that box. It goes directly against everything Kashri said in that first season. Boyd, who, yes, I'm saying Boyd because Boyd does have a lot of responsibility in this town. He's done a lot for this town in the year and a half that he's been here, more than anybody else can say. And so for you to set up this box as just a scare tactic, you didn't really want to throw anybody in there. You set it up for the reason of having people stay in line with the rule. There'll be consequences, and now you're just going up against that because you don't want to really throw anybody in there. Now the reason you implemented the box to begin with is just being abused, and you just letting it happen. You're just letting people in this town, the same people that you told would get home to their family, drop like flies because you don't want to institute the box again. No, F that. Frank literally went into the box for a lot less. Let me know if y'all think I'm tripping in the comments, but I genuinely believe that Elgin, Fatma, and Sarah deserve to get thrown in that box in the same night.